everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We will be speaking with Dr. Tucker today. He works for NASA. He is a research scientist for NASA, so we have some exciting things and information that we will be getting from him today. Just starting off, I am Latoya Mayfield. I am the founder and president of GSTEM, Girls Impacting Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And again, we're excited to have you all with us and joining us in for this GSTEM chat. So GSTEM chat, let me tell you a little bit about what GSTEM chat actually is. So it's our 30 to 60 minute segment where we're actually bringing in professionals in the STEM field to give their journey and their background of how they've evolved and gotten to the fields that they're in. We understand at GSTEM that it's important for students and even adults, right, to be able to see people like them in these type of spaces so that they know that they have the confidence to fulfill what it is to actually be in the STEM field. So we're excited to have you, Dr. Tucker. We thank you for taking your time and being with us today. Also, for people that don't know much about GSTEM, we are a nonprofit that focuses on inspiring and influencing girls to actually go out and pursue STEM. We know that they can do it. We are women professionals that have entered the STEM fields through different journeys. I mean, we have all types of journeys. And so we know what it takes to get in the STEM field, and we know that your path may look different and everyone's path will look different, but we know that you have what it takes to do it. So again, we're excited to have you all. We're based out of Richmond, Virginia, if you are new to us. So we will go ahead and jump in. First, I want to introduce Dr. Tucker the correct way by giving you a bio or giving you his background. So Dr. Tucker is actually a native of Richmond, Virginia. So he is from the same place we are located in, Richmond, Virginia. He attended Richmond Public Schools through grade school before receiving his Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics and physics at Hampton-Sydney College. Through high school and college, he was actually a student athlete, which is awesome. And after Hampton-Sydney, he received 2 additional degrees from the University of Virginia, still in Virginia, wow. And that was the Master of Science in Engineering and Physics and a PhD in Engineering Physics, wow. His PhD research involved developing and carrying out numerical simulations on how atmospheric escape affects the evolution of planetary bodies. He continued his research at the University of Michigan as a postdoc and research faculty. He currently is a research scientist at NASA in Maryland, where he actually researched, and his research focused on modeling the moon's atmosphere to support human exploration on the moon, as well as understanding evolution of planetary atmosphere in general. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So that was a whole lot. I don't know about you guys out there, but that to me, that was like, wow, right? Like at this point, what can you not do? So I appreciate you coming and taking your time to speak with us for our GSTEM chat. This is actually our first GSTEM chat of the year. Our first one actually got canceled. So this is our first one. We're excited that we were able to have you out here with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of this. I'm really passionate about encouraging young students, especially young female students, to pursue opportunities and careers in science and technology. So thanks again for having me.
Yay! Awesome, awesome. We're excited to have you. So I just want to let all the listeners to know that the way that we're going to do this is going to be more so of a conversation. I am going to ask OJ, or his name is formerly known as OJ. So Dr. Tucker.
OJ is fine.
OJ is fine? Okay.
It's fine.
I want to keep
worries.
it as Dr. Tucker. You don't want to mess that up.
Okay.
Dr. Tucker, I will ask Dr. Tucker different questions, and I'm going to get his response to these different questions. So if you guys have any questions or you have any comments, please drop them in the comments below. And also, if you have a question for Dr. Tucker specifically, I will actually forward that information to him. So if you want to either drop your email in our message us your email address so we can send you that information, that is awesome. We will do that, okay? So first off, what do you currently do at NASA? I know I told them what you do in the bio, but if you can just expand on what you actually do at NASA so everyone will understand what you do.
Yeah, yeah, sure, I can do that. Before I get into that, though, I'd like to talk a little bit about where I work at. So I work
Okay.
at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, as Latoya mentioned. And NASA is one of the largest, NASA Goddard is one of the largest space agencies in the world, actually. They have over 10,000 employees. About 50% of those employees are engineers, and about 30% are scientists.
Wow.
And a smaller fraction are civil servants. So I'm a civil servant. There's about 3,000 civil servants. And these scientists, they work in 4 different divisions. They work in planetary science division, which I'm in, heliophysics division, which is study of the sun, earth science division, and the astrophysics division. And so Goddard has like an operating budget of about, last year, I believe it was about $5 billion.
Wow.
And this budget goes into operating the different missions and supporting the different science that gets carried out. So I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when they think about NASA, they think mainly about the manned space flight missions, but like travel to the International Space Station, or when people travel to the moon years and years ago. But actually, NASA has been carrying out a lot of robotic space missions for decades now. And so this picture here is just showing you all of the different missions that have been carried out that NASA Goddard has played a role in.
Wow.
So if you look at the yellow, the names that are in yellow are missions that are currently being formulated. So they're developing mission concept ideas, thinking about what type of instruments they're going to build, and getting different science teams together. The orange names are missions that are in the implementation phase. So they're really gearing up to begin to deliver instruments and deliver payloads to a rocket that can send them out into space. And the green names are showing missions that are currently operating in their primary phase.
Wow.
And so you can see some missions on here, like Juno is observing Jupiter right now. OSIRIS-REx is a mission that went to look at an asteroid, and it actually collected a sample that it's going to bring back to Earth.
Wow.
And then the blue are missions that are in their extended phase. So they carried out their primary mission, and now their mission has been extended to carry out more science operations. So at the moon, you have the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which has collected like petabytes of data on the moon, its surface, and different things in that environment, and a bunch of missions at Mars. And so I just wanted to show you that. So it's not just manned missions, there are a lot of robotic missions that go on as well. Wow. So what I do at NASA, I'm a civil servant scientist, so I'm a public servant. And that's really why I'm passionate about doing events like this, because I feel like since, the public essentially funds my science and, they fund me to carry out the work, I like to make sure that I can tell them what's going on and what I'm doing at NASA. So I'm a civil servant scientist, and mainly I do numerical modeling to understand planetary atmospheres. Right now, that focus is trying to understand the moon's exosphere. So, we hope to send men back to the moon, and these folks are going to need resources once they get to the moon to sustain their stay, and also to help them get back. And so some of my studies aid in trying to understand what type of volatiles or what type of materials that could be present on the moon and its atmosphere that people could use. So really, it sounds really nice, but it's actually not so exciting. I sit in an office and I make computer models to solve mathematical equations, to solve physics equations. So like, solving like your equations of motions to understand how particles move, to understand how planets move, and things of that nature. So I do computer modeling. I do a lot of writing papers, writing proposals to get grants to carry out science and to develop mission concept ideas. And also doing speaking events to just talk about the different studies that we're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, and feel free to stop me to ask
No,
any
that was
questions,
awesome. That is
questions that come up.
awesome. That is
But yeah,
absolutely awesome.
so
So,
also with,
okay, go ahead. No.
I was just going to say also with these numerical models, so these missions, they collect data and they send it back to Earth. So a lot of my study is analyzing this data to try to understand what's, why we see what we see, and also to help with mission planning, to understand the type of conditions some of the robotic instruments would see once they get to these different bodies.
That is amazing. That is amazing. You said that sounds boring. That sounds amazing.
Sitting in the office on a computer all day
But that's
long.
still amazing because you are actually in real time working on something that's in space, like that you cannot physically touch. Like that is to me is amazing. I don't know about everyone else, but to me, I'm just amazed. So another question, how long have you actually been working for NASA now?
Yeah, so I think I've been at NASA now for, I want to say 5 years since, my daughter says 3 years. Yeah, maybe about 3 to 4 years. So I came to NASA. So I was at the University of Michigan as a research scientist doing similar work. And then I came to NASA as a postdoc. So a postdoc is like a position that you take after you've gotten a PhD. And so I had to write a proposal to uh, to get this postdoc, and it gave me funding. So the way it works for scientists at NASA, you have to find grants. You have to apply to these grants by writing proposals, and then if your proposal gets accepted, you get funded, and that funding covers your salary, things like equipment, your travel to conferences, and different things like that. So
Wow.
I came to NASA as a postdoc. It was supposed to be for about a 2 year period, but within the first year, a civil service position opened up to become essentially like a permanent staff with NASA. And I applied to that position. And then I got that position like within 1 year of my postdoc.
Wow.
And since then, I've been in the civil servant position. So in this position, I've been working with one major group. It's called the Solar System Exploration Virtual Institute. And I'm on this team called Leader. And this team is composed of about 30 to 50 scientists from across the United States at different colleges and universities. And we all work together trying to understand the moon's environment, its atmosphere, the plasma environment, and things like that. So that's a major project that I have going on. And also in the civil servant position, I'm a co-lead of this modeling group we have at Goddard. So this modeling group is composed of about 20 to 30 scientists in the heliophysics division that studies the sun, and the planetary science division. And so this group is a bunch of modelers who are developing their modeling tools and looking at different planetary data. And so we like to bring them all together so they can form collaborations and propose different mission concepts and propose to carry out different types of science.
Wow. That's amazing. I
So
don't know
yeah, it's
why
been 4 years.
I don't know why to you like that's boring because I'm just blown away. Like I'm just blown away. So
Well, I mean,
question.
some people that got it, I mean, they're doing experiments, which is,
Uh-huh.
really exciting. And some people are building different instruments. I mean, so, I mean, I like it. It is fun, but it's a lot of different things you can do there.
That's awesome just to even know that, it's flexible, right? So you can go into these different types of different types of sections and do different things depending on what section you're in. And you're not just kind of focused on one if you don't want to be. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
question,
Uh-huh.
has your position evolved over time, or I know that you have been working with the moon and watching the atmosphere of the moon for a while, but has your position evolved a little bit, even with, monitoring the moon?
Yeah, my position, well, yeah, it has evolved. I guess I would say that it evolved um, um, way back since graduate school. So when I went to graduate school, when I started the PhD, I basically got on because the Cassini mission, which went out to Saturn and was observing Saturn and Saturn's moons, that mission was going on, and my PhD advisor was part of that mission.
Wow.
He was a investigator on one of the science instruments. And so when I went on, that mission basically was covering my graduate student salary and my tuition as a graduate student. And so I was doing a lot of work looking at Titan's atmosphere. And then after I finished that, well, during that time, I started to think about Pluto's atmosphere because they had a mission going to Pluto while I was working on the PhD. And like these missions, they last for like, especially to the outer solar system, they can be like 10 to 15 years long,
Wow.
even longer than that. And so they can really encompass an entire career.
Wow.
Excuse me. And so I started off on those missions. Then while I was at Michigan, I continued to do some Cassini work, but Cassini was wrapping up in 2017. And so a lot of that funding was going away from Cassini. And
Okay.
that's when I had to go and find different opportunities. It was a tough period because I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. But I was applying to different jobs, and then the postdoc came up. Renewed interest came into the moon. And so from there, that's how I got to NASA.
Wow. That's an interesting path right there. That's actually very interesting and very insightful, letting us know what it can take or how a path you can go after getting your postdoc and actually getting into this field. So question, has this been something that you've always wanted to do? Like you knew from a child, I wanted to one day work for NASA? Or has this been something that just over time, just kind of, you kind of just went into this period of having the opportunity to go into NASA and work for NASA?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, I don't know if my mother remembers, but excuse me, we had a person came knocking on the door to sell encyclopedias. And they were selling childcraft encyclopedias. And one of those encyclopedias talked all about space and the different NASA missions going on. And I remember taking that book and hiding it when the person was selling the encyclopedias because I didn't want them to take it back when they left.
Oh.
But I had to give it back, and she ended up buying a set of childcraft books for me. And so I first really became interested just reading that book about space. But I really didn't see a pathway from high school how to get there. And then I went to college, and it so happened that I found that somebody at the University of Virginia was working on space stuff, and I applied there. And then over time, I got connected to the mission.
That's cool. That's cool. That's nice to have like that. That moment, I guess, as a child, you kind of realize that this is what your interest is, and then you kind of try to start following a path to get there. Has the path getting there been easy? Has it been difficult? Like, do you mind explaining your path a little bit more?
Excuse me.
No
I haven't done
problem.
long talks in a while, so my throat is a little bit dry here. Yeah, it was the path. The path had its ups and downs. It had some high highs, and sometimes it had some low lows. I had a lot of support from family. I had a lot of support from different professors and colleagues over time. And also I've dealt with, being a Black scientist, I've also dealt with some discrimination and some hard times throughout my career. I think, I'm really proud of coming from Richmond Public Schools. We had some excellent teachers in high school and middle school. But, if you've been to Richmond Public Schools, it can be a difficult environment. Teachers, they can't only just teach, they have to also like teach behavior.
Yeah.
And while also trying to teach. So, when I got to college, I went to Hampton-Sydney College, as you mentioned. And it was like a totally different environment. In Richmond, I was sort of sheltered because, the schools that I went to were predominantly African-American, but in college, it was the totally opposite. I was like the only Black student in most of my classes for every year. And it was just a shell shock. And so that was difficult, that was a difficult situation to sort of adjust to
Yeah.
Get a different learning style. Just trying to understand how the teachers were talking, the different way they phrased stuff was difficult. And when I first got there, a professor, I was interested in physics, and a professor told me that, I took a entrance exam, and he said, you did so poorly on this exam that you shouldn't even consider, being a physics major. So my first semester, I didn't even take physics, but, my family encouraged me to keep pursuing it. And the second semester, there was a physics professor. He was like, "Oh, come on in. You'll be great. You'll do great in this." And he welcomed me with open arms. And it was like moments like that that happened throughout my career. Sometimes it was lows, but then it seemed like somebody would come along and help pick it up. So that was how, once I got to UVA, Hampton Sydney was a really small school, like 900 students.
Mm-hmm.
But UVA was a large school in comparison, thousands of students. And it was a different culture. It was culture shock. They had a lot of international professors, and it took a while for me to get used to their language, their English, and their sort of dialect.
Yeah.
And the coursework was still tough. Was tough. I was still learning how to sort of teach myself and how the best learning method for me. So that was a bit of a struggle then early on. And I wasn't as focused as I should have been when I first started. So I went for 2 years, and I did okay, but not as good as I should. And I wasn't as responsible as far as academically as I should have been. So I took a year off, and I taught high school at Prince George's County in Farmville, back where Hampton Sydney was at.
Okay, awesome.
And when I went back there, it was a great experience teaching the students, and I just really realized that I wanted to pursue, completing a master's degree and pursuing a PhD, and it sort of reignited me to go and pursue that. So I went back. It was like in that summer, one of my advisors called me. He said, come on, finish up your master's thesis, and think about doing a PhD. So I came back up. And my mom dropped me off there like one Sunday, and I was like maybe 3/4 done with the thesis, and I just stayed there in the office like overnight for two days writing the thesis up to get it up. And then after that, I gave the defense, and and then I was just really motivated to start the PhD at that point. And the PhD went, the PhD was relatively nice. There were times that I felt isolated with being one of the few Black planetary scientists. But then there were other times where people, encouraged me and helped me out. And I'm encouraged now that planetary science is moving too slow, but they're really trying to increase, to be more inclusive of different, people with different backgrounds.
Oh, that's awesome. That was amazing. Your whole path is amazing. And you can actually hear your passion. So that's amazing. That's awesome and beautiful. So just out of curiosity, so I know that you do a lot of research, and you said you do a lot of writing. What is your most or your favorite topic that you researched?
Oh, that's good. I like that question. So my favorite research paper that I wrote was it's this paper that describes how Pluto's atmosphere, which is lost from it, can be collected on its moon called CERN. And these molecules can actually collect at the poles of CERN. And we predicted that you should see these molecules before the New Horizons mission got there. And so the New Horizons mission got there, and sure enough, when they looked at the poles, they saw this dark material. And so the idea is that these molecules from Pluto, they collect on CERN's surface, and then radiation from the space environment, it processes these materials and it gives them a reddish color. And we sort of talked about this in a paper before the mission had got there and observed it. And so I feel like that was a really, that's my favorite paper, actually.
Awesome. That's really cool. So you guys, your hypothesis was correct, basically.
Yeah, it seems like it is. Yes, these ideas are always under scrutiny, but yeah, it seems like it was correct.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's something to be proud of. So I understand why that probably is your awesome and favorite topic. So out of curiosity, how many papers have you written or authored, co-authored?
Yes.
How many would you say?
So probably first author and co-author, maybe on about 50-ish papers, and then
Wow.
maybe like another 50 like conference abstracts and things, several conference abstracts and talks and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, two current papers that just got finished up in January are on the moon. One is thinking about how the moon may have lost a significant atmosphere over its time in the solar system, and another one is looking at how the sun produces water in the moon's surface. So
Wow.
those papers are recently out there, and they are freely available to the public.
Wow. So
To if you want
everyone
to
that's
search it
out
out.
there, yeah, everyone that's out there, search for his paper
Yeah.
and check it out. Wow, the sun is producing water on moon's surface. Is that what
Yeah,
you
this
said?
yeah, so the solar wind it impacts into the lunar surface, and the lunar surface has oxygen atoms. And so the hydrogen from the solar wind, it can combine with these oxygen atoms and form hydroxyl, which is a component of water. So OH,
Wow.
which, and of course, water is H2O. So
Yes. Wow. That is amazing. That is completely amazing. And that actually just helps me bring right on in that, hey guys, everyone that's out there, if you have a daughter that is a rising 7th through 12th grade student that's interested in STEM, or even if they're not sure if they're interested in STEM, but want to know more about STEM, tell them that we will have our GSTEM week, July 6th through July 10th of this year, and our applications are open. We've actually extended our application to May 10th, 2021, which is next Monday. So if they're interested, please have them sign up for it. It is a virtual summer camp. We will have professional, whether they're mostly going to be women professionals coming in and talking about their journey in their STEM path. We will talk about the scientific method all the way to the engineering design process. And we will cover each type of STEM. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Please, please, please apply today. You can go to our website, www.gsteminc.org, and just click apply and go ahead and fill out our application. We are so excited. This is our first GSTEM week, and it's called GSTEM Week Girls Innovate. So we're going to also talk about that innovation process and get you more knowledgeable about how it is working for different STEM companies and being in the STEM career all together. So please, please, please apply. Again, the deadline is May 10th. And we are excited to have you. So please don't feel as if I'm not sure about STEM, or I don't really know what STEM is, or I'm scared because I've never really been introduced. We will introduce you to that. So just log on to our website, apply, and we cannot wait to have you.
what's the age range again?
So it's grades 7th through 12th. So if you're
Grade
a
7 through 12.
rising 7th grader through 12th grade, please apply. Please, please, please. We're so excited.
Yeah, I'd like to also strongly encourage any parents or any young students listening to apply to the program, because that's exactly what I did when I was in high school and college. I looked for programs like this that I could participate in and meet new people that could possibly be a reference on a resume, and also to give
Absolutely.
me new skills to help me. And those a lot of programs in Richmond that people volunteer their time to do helped me out a lot in my career path. So I really encourage you all to take advantage of this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Tucker. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to stop that little spiel that I just had, and we're going to talk more with Dr. Tucker about his experience. So I know that I was talking and researching a little bit about, of course, right now we have this Mars exploration going on, and they actually had the NASA Mars 2020 Perseverance rover actually on Mars right now. Do you have any information about this rover, what it's actually doing while it's on Mars?
Sure. I can talk a little bit about it. It's sort of out of my expertise. I'm more in the I'm more in the atmospheres, and this is on the surface. But yeah, Perseverance is really interesting. It is meant to really be a new type of, is really meant to carry out like a neat scientific and technological type of mission. So the science part, they really want to look for sort of microbial signatures in the, of course, in the Martian surface.
Mhm.
And so they're doing types of spectroscopy where they shoot different types of light into these surface particles. And then that light is reflected back. And how that light is reflected back, they can tell different elemental signatures or different type of molecular signatures that make up the soil. And these could possibly give you an idea of if, some type of life could have possibly been there. So that's a big part of the mission. And the other part is to start thinking about, if you send folks to Mars, how will you collect resources and how will you scout the planet? So you may have heard about the Ingenuity helicopter.
Mhm.
And so this is a new technological feat where they've actually flown, they've flown a drone on another planetary body. This is the first time that something like that has been done. And so this Ingenuity helicopter, because Mars' atmosphere is so much thinner than Earth, the blades have to spin very much faster at Mars in order for it to get lift.
Right.
But they've demonstrated they've been able to get that lift, and they've taken really pretty pictures that I think you probably have seen as it's been in flight. And also, yes, the article that you sent, Latoya, they also have this instrument called MOXIE. And so one of the things you need to create on Mars is oxygen for people to breathe and also for rocket propulsion. And so with this MOXIE instrument, they have been able to convert CO2, which is the main atmospheric species at Mars. They've been able to decompose CO2 into oxygen and store that oxygen. And so this is a nice proof of concept for future missions as as we think about sending people to Mars. You can't bring a whole bunch of oxygen with you, but if you can create it there, then, you make the mission a real possibility.
Wow, that is amazing. And that's also tying in with our GSTEM week. We actually have a week-long project that we're going to work on, and it's actually going to cover Mars. So we're going to actually research if there is a possibility that we can actually have humans living on Mars, or even being able to generate oxygen and different things like that, and how to store that for sustainability for an actual group of people to actually go on Mars. So that is very interesting. And that's just a little sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about during GSTEM week. But thank you for covering that and giving us more information about it, because I know everyone is curious about that rover that's actually on Mars currently. So as you know, GSTEM, we focus on instilling confidence, inspiring critical thinking, and influencing the next generation of girls. Out of curiosity, why do you believe that women or girls should be at the table in these type of fields?
Yeah, I think they should be I definitely think that they should be at the table in these fields. Because right now they really just lack representation. And I think, people bring their life experiences into their jobs, and those life experiences make them really valuable, I think. And right now, like even at Goddard, I think it's like 60% male scientists to maybe 30% female scientists.
Wow.
And so when you look at African American women, it's even, the stats, especially in planetary science, is even worse than that. Of course, horribly worse than that. And so, planetary science is trying to take, NASA is trying to take steps in, changing that. Too slow, but I feel like it's moving in the right direction. It's really important to get their perspective in this field. I have a couple of female colleagues who are really experts in what they do, and so I would definitely like to see more representation.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback.
And sometimes I feel like girls, when they in elementary school and middle school, sometimes they're really pushed away from the sciences and technology and mathematics. And I really would like that to change. And I think programs like this like GSTEM are really important in instilling that confidence. I have 3 daughters of my own, as you know, and I would love to see one of them, you know,
Yes.
going to a STEM career, even more if they were going to some sort of space type of study, but we'll see.
We'll see. That's awesome. That is awesome. So for the guys or the young boys that are listening, what type of advice would you give them to pursue, even if it isn't planetary or even if it is, right, STEM in general or these type of spaces? What advice would you give them?
You know, I would be, especially like coming from the sort of the Richmond Public Schools environment, which is, don't get me wrong, is great, but it definitely has its challenges. I would just say, you know, be encouraged. Don't be afraid. I mean, for boys and girls, you know, don't be afraid if, you know, you might be a little bit behind, or don't be afraid if it seems like you're doing bad in a class. You know, keep pushing, keep working hard, keep trying to learn more. You know, admit when you're wrong, but also encourage yourself when you're correct and when you improve on something and when you get better.
Absolutely.
And you know, for the boys, you know, I think that, you know, a lot of times we focus a lot on sports and, you know, focus on sports when we're like in, you know, elementary school and high school and things like that. And also we think a lot about sports as far as being a pathway to college, but you can do sports and you can also do science and technology.
Absolutely.
And I just want to, you know, let folks out there know that, you know, they can both still do their sports, and if they're interested in science, they can pursue that as well. That's definitely a possibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with all of that you said. That is awesome. So question for our listeners that are young men and young women, boys and girls, even parents, right? What opportunities are they, well, for especially for the students, what opportunities are there for them to actually have an opportunity at NASA? Like, does NASA have any type of programs that they can get involved in? What does that look like?
Yeah, so NASA has an internship program for fall, spring, and summer semesters.
Oh,
Yeah, the website is, I guess, you know, once it's over, I'll put the website in the chat,
okay.
but you can search it up, NASA interns. And so every year you can apply to these internship opportunities. And they're, you know, paid opportunities. They take high school students.
Nice.
High school students are probably just in the summertime, but they take undergraduate students and graduate
Wow.
students. And currently, right now, I'm working with a undergraduate student, a sophomore at the Howard at the university. What is it? Howard University. Sorry, in DC. And yeah, so she's been working on a project over her spring semester.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's one opportunity. And currently, right now, NASA is developing this program called SPEED, and it's really targeting underrepresented students. And so high school, undergraduate, and graduate students. So
Wow.
in this program, they would connect you with mentors in the different divisions:
Okay.
planetary, helio, astrophysics, or earth science. They would plant you with, they would partner you with different mentors who have similar background to you to really help you navigate the experience. And
Mhm.
they're really just trying to make it a welcoming place. Also, if you're a undergraduate student that's graduating soon, soon NASA should be, Goddard should be placing an opportunity for this Pathways program. And it's sort of like a pathway from graduate school to a potential career at NASA once you finish that graduate. And so you would be paired with like a NASA scientist graduate school, over your graduate school experience, over your 4-year
Wow.
graduate program, right? And so NASA would pay, they would pay for your graduate study.
Wow.
You'll be paid with you'll be paired with a NASA scientist, and you will work with them, hopefully on some sort of mission, such that, you know, once you graduated, you will have an opportunity to work on the mission with a more permanent career at NASA. So
Wow.
they're looking at graduate students and also postdocs. And so I think this program should come online like in August. It's been a lot of talks about it. And, you know, I'll keep an eye out for that information and I'll pass it to Latoya. So, you know, keep track of this chat or
Absolutely.
email Latoya and to get the information. Also, just in general, so a trick for the internship program is that, so when I put out an ad in the system to get an intern, it had to have been like maybe 10,000 people who applied,
Wow.
because there's an automated system that applied for this opportunity. So you just say, okay, here's my resume, transcripts, recommendation letters. So click, I want to be considered for this opportunity. So a key way to get in there is to look at the person who's given the opportunity. Look at the scientist, like, you know, look for my name or whatever opportunity you like. Get that person's name and then send them an email so they're aware of who you are, and, you know, give them a little bit of background about you and why you're interested in, you know, studying their topic. And that way, you know, they might, you know, it'll guide them to sort of look for you when they're looking through all of those names, to know that somebody's
Wow.
interest. Yeah.
That is an awesome tip that you gave. So anyone listening that is interested in applying, remember to actually contact the scientist that has put out that ad so that you can start making yourself or catering or basically showing them who you are and giving them a little bit of your background so that you are a higher, you get the higher level of being a potential person that they will actually use or have accept into the position. So that is an awesome tip, and you don't hear that often. So I appreciate you saying that. So another thing, when students work with you, or you know, they're actually in the internship and you are the scientist that's guiding them, what do you expect for them to gain out of the experience?
Oh, that's a good, that's a great question. You know, I'd like them, you know, I expect them to become more knowledgeable about the science that that I'm doing. I really like them to develop strong independent working skills. So I like to be able to give them a task and they go and, you know, carry out research on that task. So they read background literature, and also that they email me and they say, you know what, this paper that you sent me, it doesn't make any sense. This idea that you told me, it doesn't make any sense. You know, can you help me out? This is what I'm not understanding well. So I like to have a lot of email communication. I like them to learn skills like how to make scientific plots, how to look at scientific data, maybe in a spreadsheet type of format or a database type of format. And with some students, I like them to gain like some type of programming experience.
Nice.
So yeah, so I like them to gain those skills, and I like them to become confident in, you know, talking about the research that they did, writing that writing reports on whatever they did, and presenting that work to the public.
Okay, so you more so want them to take the initiative.
Right. I want them to, yeah, definitely. Initiative, you know, is a big part.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
becoming confident, being okay with not necessarily understanding something and coming back and asking questions.
absolutely.
And, yeah.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. That's amazing. And thank you for that information. And again, thank you for actually joining us today. Again, everyone, this is Dr. Tucker. He works for NASA. He is a research scientist. And we are just happy that we had the opportunity to have you for our GSTEM chats this year. I also just want to just kind of piggyback that we have our GSTEM Week 2021 coming up in July 6th through July 10th. It will be a week long of STEM activities. We will do a STEM project that's going to cover the entire week. And we will even have judges at the end of the week that will actually hear the presentations and the research that the girls have done over the week. So it's going to be very exciting. It is free. It is a completely free summer program for rising girls that are rising 7th through 12th grade. and the application is open now. It will close May 10th, 2021, which is next Monday. So please, please, please take your time and apply. If you know any girls, it doesn't matter if they know much about STEM or not. It doesn't matter if you have a high GPA or a low GPA. None of that matters. It's if you have the interest. If you have the interest, you definitely can do it. There's nothing that will stop you. So again, I'm thankful for Dr. Tucker coming through and actually speaking with us. We actually have our next GSTEM chat, which will be 21.3 Women in Engineering. That will take place on June 23rd. And we will actually have our Vice President, Shatara Weaver, who is also the head of engineering. She will actually be the one directing that chat. So please, please, please be on the lookout for it. And again, if you have any questions, you can email me. You can email GSTEM in general at you can find us on our website at www.gsteminc.org. You can email us at gsteminc@gmail.com. We are open to any comments. Please comment. I hope you comment through the entire thing. If you have any questions, please add it to the comments. You can message us on Facebook. You can message us by email. And if you haven't already, please follow us on all social media. We're on LinkedIn. Again, you know, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter. Please follow us. And we are excited that we had you. We are grateful for all of our viewers. And till next time, have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone. Thank you again, Dr. Tucker.